All right, Shalom Israel, giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi by Hashem Kadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, great millstone. Most High says to the brothers, teaching word for the hopeful elect, soon to be the elect, most High will, to the hopeful extended elect, Shalom blessings. I get a quick video, and hopefully I'll be able to do a couple of more. I'm gonna call this "We Have to Work It Out," and whatever kind of work it is, we have to work it out to our best of our ability in righteousness. And Most High is seeing how we act among these heathens too. Or when you're at a job, you know, even though they heathens, even though they, you know, uh, you might be working with Edomites, and we know them to be the wicked. Some of them might be Jakes, but whatever you do, you have to show your works. And I got this scripture, Matthew 16:27. It says, "For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father." That lets you know. Keep saying they're not the same entity, man. So IUIC is going off with his angels. So he's coming with his angels. So he has a Father in an angelic body, coming with his angels. And then he shall reward every man according to his works, man. So you want to be the best man you could be in this ministry, and the best brother you could be, best father to your household, your wife, your children, best father to the brethren, best likened to a child to your leaders, you know. Because, it says every man should be done what he does in the body. We hopefully exempt from this judgment, but we don't know. That's why we say hopeful elect. But there's many different scenarios, situations, different challenges that we face as men on the earth, especially as top men of the earth, being prophets, that we have to, even fighting demons, man, even fighting ourselves. We're our worst enemy. Like that term always has been, lingering, of sayings that men have said, and that it really comes from the Bible. Paul expressed about warring, and there's a law warring in the members and his inward parts, battling spirit against flesh, battling lust, battling, you know, um, being humble, battling being a man. Because, we've been torn down by society, so-called, starting with the so-called black man, Latino, Native American. We've been cut short in society. We've been downtrodden in society, and, and we prove ourselves, but we prove ourselves in this ministry. We prove ourselves in our works, in righteousness, and being a man best our ability to not have any involvement with the issues of this world. And we are attached, still connected some type of way to our families. They're gonna forever be, they don't really get it, so they'll call us. Your mother don't get it, so she'll still call. And not that we hate our mothers or our fathers, and we don't have nothing to do with them. It's basically like Yahawashi said. He said, "Shall not be about my father's business," when they were searching for him. And then, our works speak louder than our mouths. It's even Yahawashi said, "If you don't believe me, believe my works." They basically are. I'll get it. Let me see if I can pull it up. And this goes with a job. You might, it's gonna get hard. You can't just, risk your job by giving, your boss a finger, saying "fuck you" to everybody. I know that's anger. We got to fight. It says, "Oppression maketh the wise man mad." So there's nothing wrong with being mad. It says, "Be angry and sin not." That you gotta, realize your circumstances, realize what kind of position you're in, you know, and you have to sow good works upon the earth so men can see, to be an example of, to where, because even when they said to Yahawashi Pilate, he said, "I find no fault in this man." So you want to go out the best way, even if these devils try something. You want to be, you know, as righteous as possible, but not perfect. But let me see. If you don't believe me, believe my works. King James Version. It says, John 10:37, if I do not the works of my Father, yeah, because we don't even have to explain that, man. The works of his Father, believe me not. But if I do, though you believe me not, believe the works. If you don't believe me, believe the works, man. I'm talking about for every brother, because every brother's likened to Yahawashi, and a lot of them, all those dudes that fell out, that was, even those that speaking against the apostles, a lot of them went back into the world, got in trouble. A lot of them might have, some of them passed, because there's nothing in the world, man. There's nothing left in this world, and Jake is starting to see that. But sometimes he learns the hard way, man. And it's best to be in a ministry full of, filled with austere men. And some men are more lenient. Some, like I said, go to the forward and the gentles. It's more, some are gentle. But it's better than that than to be left out in the world, man. You see what's going on out there. It's kind of like, you know, um, and even I think of this sometimes, like, hey, man, it's better to be in a dream world than this real world. But the dream world could be a nightmare too that you want to wake up from. So you caught in between a space to where just try to be the best man you can, man. You know, it's not easy being righteous in a wicked world. Definitely that. So he said, if you don't believe him, believe his works, that ye may know and believe that the Father is in me and I in him. You know, and you know, we live. Some of us live around Edomites. We live around Jakes. You know, and Jake is tripping, but a lot of the time that be the media too. So you just gotta focus on what we have to do, occupy them prophecies. You know, and hope, and then you gotta pray. You gotta pray and fast. Pray for brothers. You gotta, you know, um, it's a lot of things to be tended to. But it says that the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. So the works, you know, it's that woman that's coming back to you, begging you to let her stay after she committed adultery and played the harlot. You're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna let you in, but if you do anything against me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm done with you. I'm gonna cut you off, and I'm gonna put your ass to death, man. As far as these missiles coming, that's how the Most High judges his own people too, as well as Esau. as well as these other nations and these other nations to be going into slavery. But as long as we're in the house, you know, things can be worked out. Some of the brothers just now living with brothers or have to in certain situations. You gotta iron that shit out, iron sharp at the iron, and work that shit out, man. Cause there's nothing, like I said, I'm gonna repeat it. There's nothing left in the world, man. The world is gone. No church. The churches. There's no true churches no more. There's no true education out there. There's no true uh, uh, politicians out there or politics. There's no the sports world and the music world and and all those different genres of um, is gone. Is done. You know, and it also says work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, and that doesn't mean go out there and try to be macho man and not go to a strong brotherhood or a stronghold, or maybe of a camp or anything. And hey, if dire straits, you might have to do that, but it means within your own mind, within your spirit, you know, because nobody is you. You your own person, your own man, and your own spirit, and you deal with things mentally, inwardly that no man deals with the same way. We have similar trials, common trials, but how we perceive them or how it affects us is different. And that's about it. Shouldn't be. It should be all the same. But it might be how we grew up. Might be how much. But don't put too much strain on your brain. Don't take too much in that you can't handle, man. Don't stress too much. Don't stress at all, really. I mean, believe in the Most High, have faith, and I'm not just talking. I've been in those situations, man. Brothers, you know, have been in those situations. You know, even man, in brothers in L.A., we went through a lot, man. Brothers lost cars, been in jail, getting attacked and all that. It's rough, man. And starting with the apostles and elders on down, it's rough. But you can't take another man's glory or fill another man's shoes with your own pain and suffering. You have to work that out yourself and then come together on some common grounds of the spirit of one faith, one baptism, like it says. Every man's Yahawashi, he had to fill his role for what he did at Solomon. He couldn't, he can encourage, but he said, I came to do the works of my father. This is, you know, this is his meat is to do the will of his father. If that was the case, he would have been like taking his mother and father in and like, well, I have to, you know, like, no, I got to be about my father's business. And it says even let the dead bury the dead, because someone had to bury their loved one, and he said, let the dead bury the dead. So this is a very tough calling, tough ministry, and our people don't understand that, man. That would be very offensive today for them. And they say they believe in Christ like he's just a so-called white man, long stringy hair with a soft voice, walking around hugging people and giving out candy. That's very opposite, man. That's the very opposite of that. And I think when we iron our differences, we iron, talking about for the sake of the ministry, spirit of Yahweh Yahawashi, and we grow from there, and we become better men. We become real men, and people will look at you like that too, and they'll fucking leave you alone a lot of times, because boys play, men work, but we're gonna be like until children again. We're gonna get to play again. I wouldn't call it play, but we're gonna get to enjoy and rejoice again in the heavens, in the heaven on earth. You know. So till that time, we have to work it out. We that woman in the window that her man let back in the house, and she don't want him. He don't want her to touch everything. Hey, take your nasty and sleep with all those men. Take your nasty ass in there and take a shower, bathe yourself. Don't touch shit, and then we're gonna have to talk about some shit. You know, and we examine ourselves too. Don't forget that. Everybody examine them. You know, me as a as a man speaking to myself, examine. You know, because you got to fear the Most High. You got to fear Yahawashi. You got to fear, the presence of this ministry. You know, that is the voice of the Father, basically, and the Son. You know, and a lot of these niggas that fell back into the world think this is a game or a joke. They have or made it some kind of entertainment or some kind of celebrity work of celebrityism. They're done, and that's why the Most High is putting the spirit on Trump, putting the spirit on these militias, putting the spirit on the citizens of the world, people of the world. You know you got to avoid arguments these days, man. People just shoot now, so you got to be wise and you got to work out whatever you have to work out as a man, and even you women too, man. Anyway, hope it was edifying. Shalom.